I'm just a little bit nervous on what John Horst, the executive of the Milwaukee Bucks, is going to do this year at the 2026 NBA trade deadline. I just got done rewatching the Minnesota Timberwolves Milwaukee Bucks game. I watched a little bit of it live last night, and it just ended in almost like a 30-point blowout game in which Anthony Edwards didn't play, and the best defender, one of the best defenders on the Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert, didn't play. And now to the Bucks' credit, Miles Turner didn't play in this game as well with an illness. But I'm just realizing after watching this game, the Bucks are so far from contention with this roster that I'm just scared they're going to do something to try to just salvage this season or Giannis's maybe time in Milwaukee that is going to just negatively affect their long-term future, and it's not going to be in the betterment of the team going forward. And they're just going to maybe try to squeeze out a play-in tournament win this year to keep Giannis happy. So yeah, today I just kind of wanted to talk about what's been frustrating me with the Milwaukee Bucks at the moment. This team is 17-23. They are the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, what helps out the Bucks? I don't think any teams behind them are lapping them. As fun as like Brooklyn was at times and Washington, we know that they have their eyes set on the 2026 lottery. I think Charlotte is in like kind of like an in-between period. They would be very happy if they made the play-in tournament. It would be a step in the right direction for their young trio around Khan, Miller, and LaMelo, but I don't think they're going to have the consistent talent availability throughout the course of the season to guarantee themselves the 10th seed. So now we're here at 11 with Milwaukee, 17-23 this year, and they are about a game and a half behind the Chicago Bulls. I would expect them to eventually leap Chicago, but you never know with the Chicago Bulls. They make the play-in tournament every single year with their buddies, the Atlanta Hawks, who are 20-22. They've had some of the best defensive play over the last 2 weeks. Didn't look so good against the Lakers last night, but hey, they're going to be trying. They don't own their first round pick going forward. They actually have Milwaukee's first rounder with the swap with New Orleans, so it would make sense for them to make sure Milwaukee is in the lottery. So now that they have 2 chances at getting a top 4 pick in the draft, Miami never really seems to ever want to bottom out. They've been kind of bad over the last 2 weeks, but they picked up a nice win last night against Phoenix, a game in which Bam Adebayo really needed to perform in, and he had a great fourth quarter. Like Cleveland, Orlando, Philly, Toronto, Boston, New York, Detroit, I think all these teams are showing that they're going to be 7 or better throughout the rest of the season. Maybe like if one of these teams has a drastic injury, they could taper off a little bit, but it's a lot of ground for Milwaukee to make up. Now, it's not like they're behind Orlando by a ton, right? It's just 5 games in the win column. It's about 5. Yeah, they're basically 5 games behind Orlando. It's not insurmountable to go up and past Orlando in the standings. It would need for this team to go on somewhat of a solid run. They are 22nd in the NBA in terms of net rating. They're 19th in defensive rating. They're 23rd in offensive rating right now. We're looking at teams just here in the month of January. They're pretty much a bottom 10 team. They're about 3-3 at the moment. They have a negative 3.2 net rating, and I'm just scared to see what they're going to do this year to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo happy. Now, I would say that some guys have obviously been exceeding expectations this year. You have to be absolutely thrilled about what Ryan Rollins is doing, averaging 16.5 points, 5.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds. He's had some bad games as of late, but this guy has already exceeded maybe the 200 percentile outcome that he could have done this season for Milwaukee going forward. He's under contract next year, and then he's got a player option for 2028, but it's a really good contract to have him on right now. $4 million this year, $4 million next year, and then a $4 million player option in 2028. Honestly, it would be wise for them to just like extend him right away. They can't rework next year's contract because it's guaranteed. They can maybe do something. I would try to keep him happy, give him like a nice $10 million pay raise or something like that, $8 million pay raise. Give him $12 million a year if you can lock in $12 million a year for like 2028 and 2029 going forward. They made a massive risk in the offseason when they waive and stretch Damian Lillard, who they're going to be paying about $20 million a year for the next 5 years till 2030. 11% of their cap space, 12% of their cap space is going to somebody that's not playing for them to go after Miles Turner. Now, Miles Turner obviously has been giving them way more production this year than Dame would have given them, because Dame would have given them 0 production. I don't think this has been worth paying Dame $25 million a year and paying Miles Turner $25 million a year. So 27% of your cap space. Honestly, more than that right now. Basically 30% of your cap space in 2026 is going technically to Miles Turner. I just don't think that was smart team building. Maybe you thought this would go a little bit different, but in hindsight, maybe you'd get a cost-effective big in the offseason. I mean, Miles Turner is shooting 38% from 3. He's still a solid rim protector. He's not like a decoy candidate this year. He's just as bad as maybe a rebounder and a physical guy down low as like Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, would you have been better off just signing like I don't know, Jock Wandale to a 1-year deal. I'm trying to think of like some of the veteran big men that got picked up in the offseason. I don't think they were going to be able to outbid the Lakers or convince DeAndre Ayton to come, but you could have maybe gone after that. Anybody would have taken Andre Drummond in the offseason as well. San Amamu in Toronto has been a really good pickup. I doubt Boston was giving you Kada. I'm just trying to think of like some of the backup bigs that ended up getting like these 1-year deals in the offseason. Larry Nance was kind of a disaster in Cleveland. Al Horford, I don't know if you really wanted Al Horford. I would have liked Jock Wandale. I think he's been exceeding expectations this year. Jonas Valanciunas, could you have gotten the Kings on the phone to make a deal for Jonas Valanciunas? Either way, it was a massive risk. I just don't think Turner has lived up to this contract right now. I don't know if it's going to get better here in Milwaukee going forward. You have Kyle Kuzma, who they're obviously calling a bunch of teams, seeing if they can leverage Kuzma's deal into something bigger. Same with Bobby Portis at $22 million and $13 million this year. Portis has one more year of potential guaranteed money in 2028, where you could see he's got a player option at $15.5 million. Now, like, this isn't the worst roster sheet, what I'm looking at right now. Like, they don't have a horrible contract. Do I love the Turner contract? Not right now, but it could definitely play into being a good contract going forward. Bobby Portis at $14 million a year is fine. Kuzma, overpaid a little bit right now for sure, but it's got 1 year left on the deal. All these guys have player options going forward, and how elite of a shooter AJ Green is, I am more than okay paying 6.5% of my cap space to somebody when he's 30 years old that's actually been a solid defender this year, and one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. AJ Green's played 37 games this year for Milwaukee, 43% on threes, 7 a night, 10 points, and like I said, I think he's providing them valuable defense. It's just like this team, I don't think, is winning a playoff series right now. Now, if they went up against Orlando, you could look at the experience, the veteranship of the Milwaukee Bucks that could maybe get them over the hump. But I don't know. Gary Trent Jr. has not looked like the same player since like Game 5 against Indiana. Yes, Portis has been in big games before, and Kuzma and Turner and Giannis. I just don't know if these guys are going to be playoff risers at all by any means. I feel like Kevin Porter Jr. has the longest leash in the NBA by Doc Rivers. And that's a whole nother thing where Doc Rivers is your head coach right now. They have like first apron wiggle room. And the thing is also scary about Milwaukee that I don't want them to make a short-sighted move. They don't own any of their first round picks till 2031. So when you hear of a fake Milwaukee Bucks trade or a mock trade, they're giving up their 2031 first or their 2032 first. That is a terrible idea right now, unless you're getting a top 15 player in the NBA that's going to potentially be there for you in 2031. I am not doing this whatsoever because I don't think even adding, say you just plop Devin Booker on this team, yeah, it makes them a whole lot better. I don't even think I can guarantee you a Eastern Conference Finals appearance if you plop Devin Booker on this team without even giving up anybody else. Yeah, there's a really good chance that you can make it, but I can't even say with certainty. Like, imagine you just plop Devin Booker on Detroit, or you plop Devin Booker on the Celtics or the Knicks or the 76ers or Magic. So the thing is with them, they want to keep Giannis happy. Giannis could be extension eligible in October of 2027. We all know the Giannis trade rumors and saga and drama. He was booing the fans last night in their blowout loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, in which, what was the exact number they lost by? 33 points. So it wasn't pretty. It was in Milwaukee too, which was great, like in front of your home fans, and that's why like they were booing. Giannis was booing back. I just don't see the path for this team right now. So this year, what favors them, and that's why I think it's not the worst idea to not make the play-in tournament this year. They have a swap in favor of that pick and the Pelicans pick, but we all know that the Hawks own it. In a perfect world, the Pelicans get number 2 or number 3 or something like that going to Atlanta, and you're keeping your first round pick so you can keep 8. In a perfect world, the Pelicans win the lottery and you get number 2. And now I'm adding AJ DeBanza, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer. Now we're playing basically slot machines at that point. The odds of that happening are obviously not very high, but at least there's a chance there. So that's why this might be their best chance, because next year in 2027, it's another swap. It's a least favorable between Milwaukee and New Orleans. Atlanta owns this one from the DeJounte Murray trade going forward. Actually, they don't own their first round pick next year. They don't own anything next year. That's why maybe you should try to keep your first round pick this year in a way at a good level instead of maybe picking 15, 16, or 17. So Atlanta gets the swap worst, New Orleans will get the swap best between the two teams next year. In 2028, Portland can swap with Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee could still have the better player between the two teams in 2028, but when you're looking at the landscape of these teams, once again, I'm hoping that if you're bad in 2028, you're picking 8, Portland's picking 4, and you keep your pick. But I like the way Portland's looking right now for the future. 2029, they don't own anything here in the swap. 2030, it's another swap with Portland, and then you own your first rounder in 2031. It's just the names that I'm hearing that they could trade their 2031 first for make me want to throw up. Miles Bridges, I would sell the team if you traded your 2031 first for Miles Bridges. Jeremy Grant does not move me whatsoever. I would trade Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. for Jeremy Grant. I would do that, but once I'm trading away that 2031 first, it has to be such a difference maker to do that trade. Like the Ja Morant one, I like a little bit more than Trae Young, but I think that is so risky, incredibly risky to trade away your 2031 first for Ja Morant unless there's a top 5 protection on it. Sure. If you're throwing an unprotected 2031 first for Ja, I hate that. Honestly, I would try to get it done. ESPN did this in the mock trades that I reacted to, where you just swap your pick with Memphis, which now gets lumped into the Bradley Beal, Desmond Bane swaps. But say the Hawks get pick 1 from the Pelicans, you have the 8th pick, and Memphis has like the 11th pick. You swap with Memphis 8 to 11, so Memphis moves up 3 spots for Ja Morant. Sure, I would do that. I don't even know if Memphis is going to want to do that, but that's fine. If Memphis is like, you're not getting Ja Morant unless you give us your 2031 unprotected first, no. This future is too up in the air for you to be trading unprotected first 5 years from now. 5 drafts from now, which I think is absolutely crazy. Any other guys that like I've just been seeing this team potentially rumored to, like DeJounte Murray? Once again, Kuzma for DeJounte Murray? Sure, whatever. Like, that's fine. Trading away your 2031 first for DeJounte Murray or Zion Williamson or anybody like that, I really hate that I deal with going forward. Anthony Davis? No, I'm not trading a first rounder for Anthony Davis. I mean, low key, you do Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis doesn't play for the rest of the year. You tell Giannis we are tanking. As long as New Orleans is bad, we're at least guaranteeing ourselves a top 7 pick. Plus, we're going to have you and Anthony Davis next year. I don't love it, but I like it better than trading away your 2031 first round pick for Ja Morant, which I just think, like I said a bunch of times in this video, is incredibly risky. So what I would do, which isn't an easy decision to make, I'm trading Giannis. I am trading Giannis Antetokounmpo right now while he has 2 playoff runs for a team. Now, trading him before the lottery obviously is going to hurt some of the value, or it can help in a way because, yeah, you could trade some first round picks that could end up being something, but say the lottery happens, the Pelicans get number 1, or that goes to Atlanta. Atlanta's like, you know what? That's still off limits. Like, we're getting Darren Peterson or AJ DeBance at number 1. That is way more important than Giannis, who will be 32 next year, who has 1 year left, who will probably sign a max extension to wherever he gets traded, because I think teams will not trade for him unless he tells the team, I will sign with you. So I just don't know. Like, maybe the number 1 pick straight up for Giannis, like maybe that ends up happening. I don't know. But if I were the Bucks, I would probably sell at the deadline. So can you find a team that could see any value in Kuzma? Probably. But I don't know if you're getting back a good contract going forward. Like, am I trading Kyle Kuzma for Patrick Williams? I don't like that at all, because Patrick Williams is making $18 million a year for the next like 5 or so years. If I'm getting a pick attached to that, yeah, I would think about that for sure. Am I trading Bobby Portis for like the 28th pick in the draft? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about like trying to create cap space this summer, reshuffling this roster a little bit, and moving on from this young core. Like, I mean, Taurean Prince has been hurt this year, so I think it's like unfair to say he's given them nothing, but like, I'm not really moved by Cole Anthony this year. I haven't been moved by Garrett Trent Jr. this year. I'm done with Kyle Kuzma here. I mean, I'm done. I don't really enjoy watching KPJ hoops, but KPJ is actually averaging 18 points per game. Holy shit. I honestly didn't even realize that. This might be the quietest 18-7 this year. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Doc Rivers deserves to give him a leash. Bucks fans, you can let me know if like this feels like empty stats in a way. I didn't realize it was 18-7, honestly. I was like, wait, am I looking at per 36? So that's kind of crazy. Maybe a team would take on Kevin Porter Jr. here at the deadline. I mean, he's 25. If you want to roll with him going forward, sure. He's got a player option, so he could just hit unrestricted free agency. I'm sure some desperate team in the offseason would give him a deal. It's probably going to be Milwaukee. So I would think about selling. I would think about selling Giannis right now. If I go to Giannis, will you sign an extension? He goes, I don't know. We got to see what's happening by then. I'm trading him. If he goes, yeah, I'm willing to, then I'm not trading him. I'm extending him in October, and I'm trying to reshuffle this roster because I don't think 2026 is your year. I think 2027 could be your year. Now, what hurts a little bit is Dame would have been up after 2027. So then you would have had a $50 million Dame contract that could have been expiring, which now in the 2027 free agency class, you could have had Giannis under contract, and that's pretty much it. It would have been Giannis and AJ Green under contract, so you would have had a max slot. You could have had a lot of money to deal with. Plus, you might get a top 10 pick in this year's draft if you and New Orleans end up finishing as top 10 or bottom 10 teams. Which right now, if we look at like the Tankathon draft order, that is the case. I mean, New Orleans actually has the worst record in the NBA still. So there's a very, like, that pick is going bottom at 5, which means if you're getting your pick or like one pick this year and you're giving up like number 1, that means you're getting a top 5 pick, because that means you moved up into the top 4. Atlanta's getting your pick and you're guaranteeing yourself a top 5 pick no matter what, because the farthest New Orleans can drop is 5. Now things can change. Sacramento, Washington, Indiana could finish with a worse record than the Bucks, but I would do that. I don't think it's worth it to sell off or mortgage the future, trade away a 2031 first or a swap or a 2032 first to end up in this range, to lose to the Knicks, Pistons, or somebody like that in round number 1. And now you're maybe dropping down a couple tiers in talent. Now I love the 2025 draft class, and obviously things can be fluid over time. But if you look at like, I mean, we could just kind of look at last year's draft in a way. Say the Bucks ended up with the 7th pick and they got Jeremiah Fears or Jaeger Dorman or Colin Murray Boyles or Cedric Howard. These guys have looked so good this year, and you have the upside of Kaman. That gets me more excited than like, these guys could still be great, but Baron J's a project who had a nice game against Milwaukee. Hansen Yang's a project. Like Walter Quaiden, limited ceiling. Traore's a little bit of a project. Kasparis hasn't had that much runtime this year. Riley's a project. Powell could be a good player, but none of these guys are going to make as much of an impact, most likely throughout their careers, than the guys in this tier, which Milwaukee has a chance to be in. I don't know how Giannis would feel about it, but I would shut him down. I would tank. I would try to just finish right now. Like if New Orleans finishes at number 1, I'm trying to finish at number 2. So I'm guaranteeing myself a top 5, top 6 pick in the draft. So we'll see what Milwaukee ends up doing. I'm a little bit nervous. I hope they don't trade away their 2031 first round pick. And I hope that John Horst realizes that this team is so far from competing for an NBA title right now that it's not going to change with a trade or 2 at the deadline. So Bucks fans, let me know if you're on my side or not, or you're like, Matt, shut up. Like, we want to compete this year. We want to have Giannis stay here for the long run, and he's not going to stay here for the long run if we don't make this team better right now. So you can let me know if you think that way down below. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.